Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. Today, Wednesday evening, we are supposed to study the Panchama Veda, but as a very special day, all the Hindu devotees, they'll be worshipping the Mahavir ji. They are observing Mahavir Jayanti. Is a great personality, has influenced the minds of millions and millions of Indians, and through years. Swami Vivekananda was a great fan, a great devotee of the Mahavir Hanuman. So today we will discuss about this unique character. So let us begin with a stotra. Atulita baladhamam Swarna Shailavadeham Danuja Bana Krishanum Jnaninam Agraganyam Shakala Guna Nidhanam Banaranam Adhisham Raghupati Baradutam Bhatajatam Namami. I offer my pranam to the son of the wind god, Bhatajatam Namami. The leader of the Vanara clan, and he was the Vanaranam Adhisham. He was not the king, he was the leader of the Vanara clan. The messenger of Sri Rama, the scion of Raghu. So he says, Raghupati Baradutam. Raghupati, Raghu, from him that family began, and from Raghu the Aja, from Aja to Dasharatha to Sri Rama, so Raghupati Baradutam, and that Sri Rama's, he was the messenger, and whose strength is matchless. He was a very strong person, and it says Shakala Guna Nidhanam and also Atulita Baladhamam. Now the physical strength and mental strength, both was there, spiritual strength, all are there. And physical strength was matchless. That we will be discussing as far as possible today. Whose body was like a mountain of gold. He was very good looking, very handsome looking. They are said that there are 7 very good looking heroes, and one among is Hanumanji. His body was like the mountain of gold, and who burned down the forest of Asuras, Danujabana Krishanum. The Asura, there is another the civilization called Asura civilization. Friends, we are discussing about a yuga, a period, a time when the first was the Satya Yuga, then Treta Yuga. Immediately after the Satya Yuga, the Treta Yuga has come, and in that Treta Yuga, there's some type of people. In Satya Yuga, all were good people. The rishis and the kumaras and all, they were so good people. Now, the Treta Yuga, we find good people. They are practicing meditation and they are taking the boon, accepting boon from the gods. All they were there, but at the same time, ego has increased. That's why we find the personality like Ravana and other people. So, Asura, there was also a civilization. They were very expert people, and they were also having the physical strength and mystical power. So they used to follow one type of practice, one type of thing, that by that way they used to develop the mystical power. So we find the one Asura, he took the form of a deer. Then Ravana, he took different forms, and many were there, those who could do like that. So that they used to follow that path. And they were not agreeing with the rishis, were practicing pure religion like the Vedanta. So they used to come and disturb them. And Rama's life began We know the Vishamitra took the Rama and to protect their ashrama because Asuras were disturbing. And now sometimes we think the Asuras means the terrible people. Not like that. There was a civilization. Maybe we will be discussing that too. But this one person, the Hanuman, he actually burned down almost the whole city. The Danujavana Krishanum, who burned down the forest of Asuras, who towers among the illumined people. He was towers among the illumined people, and he said, Jnaninam agraganyam. Now, what is the Jnani? He is to understand even the subtlest point of the philosophy. So that is and not only that, he was the only person who could recognize immediately by seeing the Rama and Lakshmana from distance that they are not ordinary people. Particularly Sri Rama, when he saw, he understood that he is the God himself. So that Jnanina, that he was having that unique quality to understand the people, and that Jnaninam agraganyam, who is the treasure house of virtues. Then finally he says that actually he is having shakala guna nidhanam. He was having all good qualities. Friends, we discuss about the God realization and all these. But what is it? What is the God realization? It's acquiring some good qualities. There are good and bad qualities. We know that in the Bhagavad Gita, it categorized in the 16th chapter, first 3 verses, all good qualities, all divine qualities. If we practice those qualities, we become God ourselves. So why people, they always argue there is no God, there is no God. That means the conception of God is not very clear. That is the reason sometimes people, they talk like that. But in fact, God means all these wonderful qualities. And if we can manifest those qualities in our life, we become God ourselves. Through Hanuman, though Hanuman was not related actually with the Rama's family, but we wonder how his name is also, the devotees, when they are offering the pranam or the respect to the whole family of Sri Rama, they will add also Hanuman. Many of you, those who regularly chant the Ramayana and Ram Nam, which is very famous now, this we say, Om Sri Sita Lakshmana Bharata Shatrughna Hanumat Sameta Sri Ramachandra Parabrahmane Namah. Hanumat Sameta, along with the Hanumana. How come in their family? Sita, she was the power of Sri Ramachandra, we can understand. And who is Ramachandra? Parabrahma. So very clearly we can understand the Parabrahma, he has taken the form and he has come as a Rama. So he was the 7th avatar according to the traditional Hindu, the 7th avatar. This Sri Ramachandra, he has taken the Parabrahma, the Supreme Being, has taken the human form, Sri Rama. Sri Rama, he has brought his power, that is Sita, we can understand. Rama, he divided his power among other 3. We all know them as his brothers, but they were the same Rama in different forms. One was Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna. But who was this? Hanumana. How come Hanumana's name come in the same line? Om Sri Sita Lakshmana Bharata Shatrughna Hanumat Sameta Sri Ramachandra Parabrahmane Namaha. Hanumat came because there is a beautiful story about this. We know that the Dasharatha, he was not having sons, so he wanted the sons. He invited some rishis and they were very perfect in mantra. So they had a yajna, putreshti yajna. And from there, after the yajna, they gave a small the container full of some puddings, divine pudding. And the rishis asked them, please distribute it among your 3 queens, Kaushalya, Kaikeyi and Sumitra, and they will have the sons. The Kaushalya was given half of that, and Kaikeyi, Sumitra, the balance half that they were given. Now the second queen, our Kaikeyi, inadvertently, she was not taking much care of that. Maybe she was not very much respectful, whatever it may be. Whatever the portion of that, the pudding she took, it was falling, a small portion was falling from her hand. And there was a bird nearby, it flew, came and catch that portion and was going away. The Indra was present in that function, in that program of that yajna. He noticed it and immediately asked the Pavanadev, he was the god of the wind, he said, please go and take that portion from the bird. He doesn't know that what is it. So please go and take it out from the bird. The Pavanadev obviously, and then he could catch the bird and took out that, and then asked the Indra, what I am going to do with this. Indra then told, you better go to Anjaniya hill. There you will find a lady sitting over there, stretching her both the palm, her hand and the palm, to receive the grace of God. She is practicing austerity for last 12 years, praying to the Lord Shiva for a son. Give this portion to that lady. So Pavana Deva took that and gave it to the Anjana Devi. Anjana Devi then got the son, and he was Hanumana. So Hanumana is known as Pavanaputra because the Pavandev brought that particular portion of the pudding, the payesham as we call it. So this Anjana Devi. Hanumana's father was the king of Sumeru, and his name was Keshari. His father was a very famous person. He was the guru of the gods. He was Brihaspati. Look at the lineage. So lineage, there's sometimes the monks, they always give the names of their gurus. Why? Because that tradition, the lineage, wherefrom you have got your training, that is very important in spiritual life. In spiritual life, the mundane knowledge or other things are not that important. So that's why we find that one of the direct disciples of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he never attended any school. He was from a poor family, but he became Brahmagyani. His name was Adbhutananda. Swami Vivekananda gave that name. It is the lineage from where you are actually getting the knowledge, that tradition. So here also we find the Deva Guru, Brihaspati, and his son is the Keshari, and his son is our Hanumanji. Hanuman was having many other names. He was Anjaneya because Anjani Putra. Anjani was the name of the mother. In those days, they also get the name of the mother. Then our Arjuna also in Mahabharata we find the Arjuna is also known as the name of his mother. That Kaunteya is the son of Kunti. So that tradition was also there, the mother relation, and mothers were also highly respected. The Anjana Putra, so Anjaneya. Then Keshari Nandana, his father Keshari Nandana. Then Maruti Nandana or Pavanaputra, as because the god Maruti, the god of the wind, he brought it, helped, so he is also considered as a father. So Pavanaputra or Maruti Nandana. He is known as Bajrang Bali also, as because he was strong like the Bajra, and very fast. So that is the reason Bajrangbali. Many people, they call him as Bajrangbali, and also very, very famous as Hanumana. Why Hanumana? And I found somewhere that is, if you break the name Han and Man, then it becomes Hanuman. Han means the ego, destroy, and Man means the ego, the destroyer of ego. I don't know whether grammatically is very correct or not, but Han plus Man, if the meaning is the destroyer of ego, it is perfect meaning. Because Hanuman himself was not having any ego. Those who are followers of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, you have studied the biography and the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you know, Sri Ramakrishna again and again said, Ami mole ghuchibe janjal. If you can remove the I, the ego, every problem is solved. And you are God then. What else? The consciousness that is there inside and the consciousness that is all pervading are the same consciousness. Only I am thinking that this is my consciousness. The fire that is burning within the cover of a glass is the same fire which is burning the forest. But this fire is covered by a glass and it is separated fire. It thinks like that. We are also thinking that we are separate. How? Ego. What is that ego? We cannot find the ego. But we are all bound by that ego. But every little thing, every one, we are all thinking I, and I am separate, and I have an entity, and I am individual, and so much in that way. So the spiritual life, the first thing we have to understand, the ego is the main bondage. That separates us. And Hanuman is the destroyer of ego. He is not only destroying the other's ego, but at the same time, he destroyed his own ego. There are beautiful stories. Hanumana actually you will find in both Ramayana and Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, there was a great powerful person, you know the name Bhima. He too was considered as the Pavanaputra. So Hanuman is also Pavanaputra. The Bhima was very much, and he was to show his all power. He was a young man, and he used to think that I am the only powerful man in this whole world, and no one is there to match me. So one day he went inside the forest, and suddenly he found an old the monkey lying by the side of the road, but his tail is crossing the whole road. You have to go over that. Usually, the Hindus never go over any person or any body. Why? Because inside that there is God. So obviously, I should not show disrespect to that person. Mostly we do not know. It has become an habit. The children are taught like that. When somebody is lying down, you should not jump over him and crossing him or that particular body. Why? They don't know. But it is because that person is having the Chaitanya, the consciousness inside. And Hanumana, he saw that monkey is lying like that. He said, Sir, can you please remove your tail so I can just cross? The monkey told, young man, I am too old and I don't have much strength also. Just lift my tail and remove it. Hanumana, okay, no problem. Very casually he tried to lift the tail. Oh my God, it was so heavy. He tried from his left hand, then from the right hand, then both the hands, and it was, sorry, I am telling the wrong name. It is the Bhima. The Bhima, he tried his left hand, right hand, both the hands to remove the tail of the Hanumana, who was lying there as an ordinary monkey. But he could not lift it. Then he sat down over there and said, you are not ordinary monkey, who are you? Please reveal thyself. And it was Hanumana. He said, you see, you should not be so proud of your strength, because strength comes from God. Be humble. So ahamkara vinasha, so Hanumana. Another Hanumanta, the one who is having a prominent jaw. Many of you must have read in Vivekananda's letters and in different places. Jokingly, he used to say, look at my jaw. His jaws was also very prominent. That those who are having the prominent jaw means very powerful people and mentally very strong, physically too. So that is Hanuman. Of course, there are many other stories that it was broken by the Indra by mistake, and I am not going to all those. But this Hanumana, one meaning may be that one who is breaking the ego, that is Hanuman. Another whose jaw is prominent, that means he is having a very strong mind and body. It is believed that the Hanumana was born in Anjaneya Hill. At present it is Hampi, the Karnataka state of India. This Hanumana was not a monkey as we all call. Nowadays there were people, they are always thinking, and it's very difficult to convince people. Swami Vivekananda also said he was not a monkey that we see in the trees. He was not an animal, a human being. Hanumana used to meditate. Can any animal meditate? It is not possible, impossible. Meditation means controlling the mind, and controlling the mind only human being can do, and no one else. That's why you will find in the different scriptures also, in the different religions, they will say the man is made of God's image. God made man out of his own image. In the Bible, it's mentioned in the Old Testament, in the Genesis is mentioning in this way, that God made man out of his own image. What does it mean? That we all look like God? No, it is not the feature, but the quality. And what is that quality? We can understand things. We can judge, analyze. Those are the good qualities. That is divine qualities. The human being is considered very highly among all the creation, all the creatures, because of this quality. And when we say that they are all monkeys that we see in the trees, and many people we have seen, they are showing great respect, offering food, that is good. The monkeys are the animals, they should also be taken care and feeding them, but they are not the Hanumana that we worship and the hero of our nation, the human hero, that is our Hanumanji. There is a great civilization, and the hill tribes, they were Hanumana. One of our great Swamiji, Swami Gitanandaji, in his book, he mentioned, and we also all know that traditionally this tribal people, they take one type of animal the thing for their symbol. I was in Arunachal Pradesh, I have seen the Nagaland also, so many, even in different places. Now the symbol of the lion, that is the symbol of the Great Britain, in India also. Then why? After 1,000 years, if the people, they think that all the Indians were lions, all the Britain was lion, that will be that like a mistake. It is not like that. It is a civilization, and civilization of the hill tribes. That's why it is in the Ramayana it is mentioned that they used to rule where? Himalaya, Mahendra hills, Binda hills, Kailasha hills, then Mandara and Dakshinata, all the hills, they were, this type of people were there who used to think themselves as either as monkey or bear or birds, and they used to have that type of dresses, used to wear, because their idol was that. And there is it is mentioned over there that the Nala, he was also one of the minister of Sugriva. He was a great engineer. He developed one machine by which they could break the Bhavati Bhushanam. is very clearly mentioned in the Ramayana. And Ramayana means, it is not Tulsidasi Ramayana. There are many other Ramayanas are there. Very famous Ramayana in the northern part is the Tulsidasi. Tulsidas was a follower of Sri Rama, devotee of Sri Rama. He imagined that he is living in the time of Sri Rama, moving with him, and that way. But where from he got the story? From the original Valmiki Ramayana. That Valmiki Ramayana, it mentions that 5:53 and 3rd verse is mentioned, Kapinam kila langulam ishtam bhavati bhushanam. It was their dress. The bhushan means dress. It was their dress, and they used to fix it. Sometimes the words are there, avidya. They're fixing their tails. That means what? This is the way, if we can understand, there was a great civilization. Some of they were versed in Vedic scriptures, and there was a great doctor also who saved Lakshmana. Among them, that there was a great doctor. So he immediately said that these are the herbs necessary to bring the Lakshmana back from his coma. So Hanumanji went to search for that. He was Pavanaputra, he could jump and very fast moving. So he went to that forest, and as because he was not getting the choice, there are different varieties of herbs, and he could not identify, he took the whole the portion of the hill and brought it back. These are the stories we know in the Ramayana, but Sushena, the doctor, he treated. Can an animal become a doctor in that way? So these, if we can understand, and we will know that the Bali, he was the brother of he was the main king there, and Sugriva's brother. Sugriva was the friend of Sri Rama. Then they made an alliance, and then they fought together. And this Bali, he used to go and meditate every evening on the shore of the sea. And he used to worship in the attentively. Even the Rama was planning to kill the Bali when he is meditating. Anything happened all around, he will never get up from his meditation till he finishes the regular performances. He was so devoted. Hanuman used to worship the fire god. So how it is possible if they were animals? And another statement, Tara, the beautiful wife of the Bali, and she was highly qualified lady, and she, the story I am not entering into that, the Ramayana, when it was decided that after the rainy season, that they will collect all the soldiers and they will go out to search for the Sita, it was decided. Bali was killed, his brother became the king, but they forgot. And here, the other side, Rama and Lakshmana, two brothers, anxiously waiting when the rainy season will be over. When the rainy season was over, they didn't see any activity. So Lakshmana came, and of course the Rama asked him to go and remind the king, that Sugriva, that what about your promise? But Lakshmana, he came and he became very angry. And when then Lakshmana was also the same Vishnu, the part of Vishnu. So when he came and he became angry, Sugriva, he was afraid to face him. He sent Tara. And Tara went over there and pacified the Lakshmana, saying, don't worry at all. And when Lakshmana, maybe, there is no sentences, but maybe from his body language, Tara could understand that Lakshmana is not liking the people here and there lying down, all drunkards. So obviously he was not at all feeling good in that. Then the Tara commented, one word she mentioned, Prithaga Janaha. I have not mentioned the whole line. And she mentioned, O Lakshmana, that you may think us in this way, but we are not bad people. This is our lifestyle. When we are free, we enjoy. So we are prithaga jana, that means not like you. The little difference. The culture was different. Sri Ramachandra, he was the Nara, as they used to call him. That culture was different, and this Vanara, their culture was different. Friends, when you go to different places, when you see, and different type of cultures we find. I went to Gujarat once, and that was something that I learned from there. Then they gave, the cup and saucer was there. We usually drink tea from the cups, but they didn't give the cup. The cup was given to some other people, but as a respected person, they were pouring a little tea on our saucer. We have to sip that, and then another person will be attending you, pouring a little again, then you sip again. That was the respect. For us, it was why they are doing, and somebody is standing before me, but that was a great respect. You are a respectable person. How I will show that? The person will be standing there with a kettle full of the tea, and you sip a little, and immediately a fresh tea will be given to you on that. And that is the way they are showing the respect. Different culture. It may happen. So when Lakshmana went over there, he found that situation. He was not liking it, and the Tara told Prithaga Jana. And this shows that they were not the monkey that we see on the trees. They were the hill tribes, very advanced people. And when there is a description of the Bali's capital, where Bali is to live, and that was covered in so nice way. No one could go easily in that. Why the animals should live in that way? Of course, they never developed the weapons. They used to fight, particularly, and mainly they used to challenge each other, and it was the wrestling. They believed in that. And then they used to use the stones and the bricks at the time of fighting, but not the sword or the bow and arrow. So when the Sri Ramachandra used the bow and arrow, and he actually killed through that arrow, then Bali was taken aback. How come you are killing me in this way? You are supposed to come before me and show your might, fight with me, like that. So that is the way we can understand the civilization, and Hanumana was one of that. And these Hanumanas, Swami Vivekananda encouraged the youth by saying, you must adopt the qualities of Mahavir, Hanumana. Swamiji mentioned two of those. One, Mahajitendriya. About the Hanumana, he said, Mahajitendriya. You know, friends, unless and until you have the control over your senses, you can never become successful. That is the main idea. The Jitendriya means Indriya. We have 5 Indriyas, all you know. We are having the eyes and the nose and the ear and the tongue and the touch, the Pancha Indriya, Jnanendriya. It is made in such a way, the nature has made these in such a way that automatically it goes out and get connected with the objects. In Vedanta, and the monks that discussing on the Vedanta, they will be going on discussing on this. Object, what is the object? In Sanskrit it's called Vishaya. The Vishaya, the Rupa, Rasha, Sabda, Sparsha, Gandha, these are the Pancha Vishaya, the objects. The eye goes and sees the form, and naturally it brings back the information about that particular form. It is beautiful, it is ugly, it is not good, it is bad, like this. And then Karna, the ear, it's hear the sound and immediately send it to the mind, and the mind gets impression, it is a good word or a bad words, and like that. The Shabda is a great power to influence the mind. And similarly, the nose, smelling and getting an idea. And with this way, this Pancha Vishaya are there, Rupa, Rasa, Shabda, Sparsha, Gandha and Pancha Indriya. Now, if one can control these Indriyas, he can control the mind. And if one can control the mind, he can focus his mind. And mind is the main power. If one is concentrating on that, he will become successful for sure. Whatever he wants to do. Swami Vivekananda once mentioned in one place, if I had a son, I would not have sent him to school for education. I would have taught him meditation. So the controlling, that's why traditionally in the Hindu society, in the first part of the life, everyone, any human is supposed to practice that particular period, brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means controlling the senses. He must practice that. Otherwise, nowadays only informative education. So he's going on collecting information, and those who can memorize that and they are very intelligent, like that they think. But actually those are not the main thing. In our human life, we are supposed to get the happiness. And happiness comes from our own inside. I am going to be happy. I give the command. I am happy. I am not going to be unhappy. I give the command to my mind. I am free from that. Some people criticizing me, it doesn't matter at all. I am not going to be hurt by that or affected by that. That is called mastery. You will notice that in the Dashanami Sampradaya Swami, their first is, the name is Swami. What is the Swami means? Master. Who's master? The senses. One must have, and then the end part of the name of every sannyasi, Ananda. Viveka Ananda, Brahmananda. So like that, Ananda means happiness. How the happiness comes? If you can control your mind, you are happy. So what is the goal of our life? Happiness. It is not to become a great scientist or a professor or an administrator or this and that. It's good to become that, but if you are not happy on that, then what is the use of that? We get it from Mahajitendriya, the Hanuman. He was so intelligent, but still Swamiji said, Mahabuddhimana. Buddhimana means intelligent, highly intelligent. He could understand everything, but no ego at all. Even understanding everything, he was very quiet, calm. He knew when to say and what, when to do how, what. So this is the way he was so intelligent. Now, if we go back, some of the, we will be trying to discuss some of the good qualities of the Hanumana, and we can quote from or can remember some of the incidents that happened in the Ramayana. Among Sri Rama, the people worship Hanumana also, along with the Sri Rama. Did you notice that no one worshipped Bharata, Shatrughna, even Lakshmana? No one. But Hanumana is separately worshipped. All celebrating the Hanuman Jayanti. In every house there will be worship. And they will be reading Hanuman Chalisa. Chalisa means 40. The 40 different the epithets, all the qualities they will be remembering. But they don't read in that way the Lakshmana or Bharata and Shatrughna. Why? Because Hanumana showed one good quality, excellent quality, that is devotion. And devotion to God. Who is the God? Sri Rama. Lakshmana was also very much devoted to Sri Rama. Bharata Shatrughna also was very much attached and devoted. But none were compared with Hanumana. Hanumana dedicated his whole life, everything for Sri Rama. Here we find some of the, in Tulsidas Ramayana and also original, the Valmiki Ramayana, you will find that, and we have also chanted from there, it says, Jnaninam Agraganyam. He was the first among the Jnanis. What is jnana? Now, the knowing something is a jnana, knowledge. I have an idea about how to cook the rice. That's also jnana. I know how to fix this particular, maybe the tap or the light and all that. Also jnana. It is also knowledge. So there are different type of jnanas. But when in the scripture they mention the jnana, they indicate the ultimate knowledge of Brahman. That is called jnana. Many of you must be remembering Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna asking the question to Master Mahashaya, Mahendranath Gupta, the recorder of the Sri Ramakrishna conversation. And he asked about his wife, the jnani or ajnani? Master Mahashaya. Naturally, that Mahendranath, who is very famous as Master Mahashaya because he was a teacher. Master means it is not the Prabhu or the owner. It is the Master means the teacher. In Bengali they call Master Mahashaya. Mahashaya is Sir or Honorable Sir, is a teacher. Now this teacher, he was in those days, he was an MA from the Calcutta University. But he thought jnani means those who are having some education of school or colleges, education that. But in those days, the Hindu, the all Indian ladies, they were not having the opportunity to go to the school or get some education in that way, formal education. So he said, oh, she is good, but ajnani. Look at the word he used. The moment he said the ajnani, Sri Ramakrishna rebuked him. Sri Ramakrishna never went to school. His education was up to Pathshala in his own village and the beginning only. But even then he was rebuking a very bright student of Calcutta University that you do not know what is jnana. What is jnana? Knowledge of one is jnana. Knowing one is jnana. Knowing many is ajnana. This is the spiritual truth. And now to understand that, one has to dedicate the whole life in practicing and controlling his senses, and then only you can realize, yes, so many varieties that we see, millions and trillions of varieties, but they are all one, only one common thing, and that is consciousness. Even the trees are also having the consciousness. The stones are also having the consciousness. Though manifestation differs, the consciousness manifested in human being much more. That's why it's great. And among the human beings also, there are some people who become Buddha, who become Christ, who become Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Shankara, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because that manifestation is supreme. Hanuman also was having that manifestation. He knew one. Jnaninam agraganyam. He was so devoted to Sri Rama. And when the Rama asked him, how you consider me, what is the relation between you and me? He said in a beautiful way, he said, O Rama, when I feel that I am a jiva, and then obviously you are my master. We are separate. But when I understand that I am that Atman, then you and me are the same. That is called jnana. There is no difference. Friends, we will be publishing one, you know that every 3 months we publish one electronic magazine, and we call it Chicago Calling. Then an article will be published over there, how nicely the writer, she has mentioned, when you look at the rail line going straight, 2 straight line going, but in the horizon it is meeting in one. If you look at the straight line, rail line, naturally the 2 different lines, but if you look at the horizon, it is mixing as if in one. Similarly, the Dvaita, 2, God and the devotee, they are parallel, going, But when they meet in the horizon ultimate, they become one. So Radha Krishna Ekatanu Bhaya. There is a song. They say when the Radha and the Krishna. Radha was the devotee, Krishna was the God. And ultimately they became one. Radha Krishna Ekatanu. Eka means one, Tanu means the body. They became one body only. So one is the ultimate. Hanuman understood that. So he knew it is the only one. And who? Rama. Why? He was the Param-Brahma. The Param-Brahma, that a supreme being, it never changes. But sometimes it takes and accepts some qualities. What are the qualities? Sattva, Raja and Tama. And if you take those three qualities, you become a form, a human form he took. The Bhagavan, Sri Rama, Krishna and others. And they behave like human. But in reality, there's a Brahma Jnani. So Jnaninam Agraganyam. There were other rishis who met Sri Rama, but they could not differentiate Sri Rama in that way. They were thinking Rama as a Kshatriya king, and they were requesting Rama, oh, you are a Kshatriya king, please help us that way. But one or two rishis, they understood Rama, the Parabrahma. They were about to give up their body, about to die, but they understood that Rama is coming. The Parabrahma, I have meditated all through my life, and I am going to merge with that. He is coming in human form. They waited like a Sutikshna Rishi. And when the Rama entered over there, then Sutikshna told, I wanted to see you in the form. Now my mission is over. Please permit me so that I give away this body and go to Brahmaloka. So when we are reading the Ramayana, if enemy and at the same time wonderful ruler, and to understand that he is actually Parabrahma is the jnana which Hanumana could do. Atula baladhamam. The bala means strength, physical strength, mental strength. Swami Vivekananda encouraged to become strong physically. If you are not physically strong, your mind will also be weak. So obviously you won't be able to meditate. Meditation is a very, very difficult exercise on body and mind, because your mind is always naturally going out. All the 5 organs, they're dragging you out. Just close your eyes and try to control your mind and you will understand. So many other thoughts will come. Where from they are coming, you don't know and you don't want, but your mind will not listen, as if somebody else is actually controlling your mind. And one can control the mind and can perform. So Hanumana was the Atuli Baladhama. He was the embodiment of all power. But concentration was there. Then Sri Rama Dutam. This is a great thing. He became the messenger of Sri Rama. The Sri Rama understood only Hanuman can do it. When they first met, the Hanumana first met Sri Rama when he and Sugriva were actually hiding. They were in exile. Rama, of course, voluntarily, he took that exile, and in the meantime something happened. Sita was abducted by the Ravana. Rama was not knowing who has abducted. And as a husband, it is the duty and the responsibility of the husband to protect the wife. The Rama and his brother, they were searching. Hanumana saw from distance, from the hilltop, these two are coming. Immediately he understood they are not ordinary. Hanumana came in the form, he took the form of a Brahmin. And it is said, even today, if you go to any other part, particularly in Bihar, I saw the people, they were very angry. Because when they saw us, they controlled themselves, they folded their hands and say, Swami, please go away from here. Something wrong is going to happen over here. Respectful. The Brahmana should not be hard. Why? Because they are researching. They are developing the human life, human mind. Then obviously these people should be protected. Now the pandemic came, that was terrible. And some of the people in the laboratories, they dedicated the whole time. And within 2 years, the pandemic was controlled because they could come out with a solution, some medicine. That was marketed by some of the business community, that is different. But who worked? The Brahmins. So these Brahmins should be protected. Not only those who are worshipping in the temple are Brahmins. Brahmins are those who are using their brain for the betterment of others. They are Brahmins. And ultimate meaning, those who have realized the Brahman. Brahma janati Brahmana. So this Ramadutam, why Rama made him his messenger, he understood this person will be able to be successful. And Rama really did. And he was buddhimatam barishtam. Rama gave a ring so that if he finds Sita, he must show it to the Sita, and Sita will understand that he is truly the messenger from the Rama. And when he found the Sita in the Sri Lanka and sitting under a tree, Rama understood that if I go just in front of her and say, hey, I am from Sri Rama, she won't believe. Because by the meantime, that our Ravana, in different form, he has already approached Sita, frightened her. She is not believing anyone around there. So how suddenly if I go, so what is possible? Rama didn't tell him to do that. So that is called buddhi. If you have given something to perform, and in that particular moment, you have to develop your own idea how to solve it. And sitting on the branch of a tree, hiding himself, Hanuman started singing the Sri Rama and praising Sri Rama. Sita was taken aback. Here in Lanka and in this prison, who is praising Sri Rama? So ultimately she could find out on that particular tree, on that branch. And when she was looking at slowly from there and making his body very small so that Sita should not be frightened, and in the form of a Brahmin, he appeared before Sita and told, Mother, I have come to give you this. He showed the buddhimatam. Then we know there also, when the Rakshasas, then Sita agreed, Sita understood, accepted, then that mission was over, and he thought, since I have come over here, and after a few days Sri Rama will come, there will be a war, let me check how powerful these people are, and what is their preparation. So this is also buddhi. See, you know that he went on doing different things. Ultimately he went to the court of Ravana. He saw Ravana, he met Ravana. Then he took that big form and told Ravana, look at me, I am the only one, a soldier of Sri Rama. And you thousands of soldiers I have killed all alone. I can kill many of you. But I won't do that. Try to understand that if like me, thousands are coming, what will happen to your country? What will happen to your people? Ravana was, of course, not accepting, but all other people became afraid. The first thing in the war, before starting the war, you have to create fear in the minds of the enemies. Hanumana, he did that. Jitendriyam. Then they were tempting Hanumana in many different ways. But as because he was controlled, and that is called character. What is character? Character doesn't mean that he is a meek person and don't tell lies and not fighting with others. That is of course good, but that is not the character. Character means he will be standing on his own, the idea, even facing the death or the temptation. That is called character. If you like to kill me, you can kill me, but I am not going to verge. That is my idea and I am going to continue in that way. Dharma means keeping the promise. And now, if we look at the people, those who are in the helms of the affairs, they think they are practicing dharma. Actually, they are committing sins. Whatever they have promised, they have not done that. It is the committed sin. And those who have promised that I will be just in my own duty, that they are also not doing. That is also, they don't have the character. Just somebody told that I will give you this much money, immediately is okay, I will adjust. No, it is not like that. So he was Jitendriyam, he could control, and Shankata Mochana, he knew how to solve the problem. If you constantly go and tell your master, sir, there is a problem, how to solve that, sir, this has happened, you are not a good servant. The servant means the service that you are giving, this is the problem I have come, this is a situation. There is no problem actually. It is always a situation. And if you can handle the situation, you can solve that. No problem comes. If you cannot handle the situation, then comes the problem. So, Hanuman, how he was solving everything. He was never ever going back to the master and telling. Of course, he knew, I am going to do this for the betterment of the master. So, Shankata Mochana and Rama Priya Bhakta. Friends, you know that the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and from the 13th verse onwards, Bhagavan Krishna is mentioning, if you are having this quality, you become my Priya. And that Priya means you are beloved to me. If the God is loving you, then what else do you want? So that Rama, his Priya Bhakta was Hanumana. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, you rather follow the paths of Hanumana. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he practiced in that way also. Because when to become a devotee, your ideal should be Hanumana. You are having all knowledge, all power, all capability, but you are not taking the name. I have done this, I have done that. That is not a devotee. Devotee will do everything for the Lord, but will always be behind, never for his name and fame, nothing. So today, in brief, we have touched the salient points of this great personality who was famous as a Hanumana, Shankata Mochana. Let us pray to him that he also helps us. You know that traditional Hindus, they all believe that Hanumana cannot die. He is eternal. Then that is why Hanumana, the eternal devotee. Hanumana cannot die. Devotion cannot die, because devotion is another form of God. If devotion dies, that means there is no God. The God and God's devotion remain side by side. And Hanumana is that symbol of the great devotion. Thank you, friends. Thank you for listening. Is there any question?
Anjali is asking, if we are all image of him, in bracket God, why some people look beautiful and some are ugly?
That is maybe in the past life, all karma phala. In the past life, they did some good work and then got the blessings. They prayed, I should be a good-looking person. They became good, and that what is there. Whether you are good or bad doesn't matter. Body is going to perish. It will be either burnt or buried one day. Develop the beautiful qualities in the mind, in your character. That is the good idea. Thank you.
Tukai is asking, does practicing Hanuman Chalisa for the children every day provide them with concentration of mind?
Of course it does, but you have to explain the meaning. And all the 40 verses, every verse has a meaning. If you can develop the meaning and explain the meaning to them slowly, at least some of the good qualities that will go into their mind, and maybe when they grow up, they become mature, they will understand these are the qualities for which the Hanumana is respected. I too should develop that. The only memorizing and then chanting without knowing the meaning, I don't know how it helps. Maybe it will help, but I believe that you should understand the meaning. And when you know the meaning, it will help you much more. Thank you.
The user SM is asking, when Thakur was doing his sadhana, did he realize he was Sri Rama first or Sri Hanumanji first? First question. Second question is, why is Sri Hanumanji not considered an avatara? Is he a god?
Hanumana is not an avatar. He is a helper of avatar. And that's a good question. If you notice, the God is coming and performing. And who is God? The first, if we think avatar, Sri Rama, he brought Hanuman along with him. And he saw the Hanumana, he showed that it is nothing but Sri Rama. So the devotee and the God, they are always one. But through the devotee, God wants to work so that all the credit goes to the devotee. And others, they get encouraged to perform that type of work so that they also get that type of name, fame, and all that. Second came Krishna. He could fight alone, but instead he gave the chance to Arjuna. And who is Arjuna? Here we have already discussed the Sri Rama. He was taken the form because that particular pudding was given. The part of the pudding was given to Hanuman's mother also, Anjana. And obviously there is a relation between Rama and Hanumana. That way. Look at the Krishna and Arjuna. He is asking Arjuna to be hero. And when he is mentioning, among the Pandavas, I am the Dhananjaya, or means Arjuna. Why? Yudhishthira was so good character, good person. Why the Krishna didn't say, I am among the Pandavas, I am the 5 brothers, I am the Yudhishthira? He didn't say that. The Arjuna. Because it's a part of the Krishna only. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Vivekananda. And when Vivekananda was afraid to sit on the same and to eat from his hand, he told, why you are behaving like this? Don't you know you and me are the same? In 2 different bodies, but we are all same. He was giving the example, if you keep a stick on a water, then people will see 2 different parts, this side water, this side water. But actually it is not a division. Similarly, avatara and the helper of avatara is the same and the same. So that way you can say that Hanumana is also avatara, but it is depicted as a devotee, so we, the ordinary people, can follow Hanumana to become and to go close to Sri Rama. We should follow Vivekananda so that we can go to Sri Ramakrishna. But they are the same. Thank you. Thank you, friends. Let us say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Om Shanti, 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Jai Mahavir Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Jai Raja Ramachandra ki Jai.